going back to Casey has ADHD, let's gamify anything that we can. I am not neurotypical. And what that means for me is I don't know how many of you guys have done strength finders. It's like hey, there's 34 characteristics that any person can have, and your top 5 are the things that we can't stop you from doing. Those are the things that you kind of want to lean into for how you're doing it. You'll never believe it, but communication is one of my top 5. It is, if you drop me in a hole in the ground and you came back hours later, I would probably be talking to the walls, and I would probably be I've got a couple other things in there that kind of make sense. My 34th worst characteristic is discipline. I don't have it in my toolkit. Sorry, friends. So for most of my life, for like 30 some odd years, I kept being like, this is managing my funds is so simple, right? Like, it's so simple. Just spend less than you make, save more than you spend. It's math. It's so straightforward. Just be disciplined. And so the way that I was trying to look at money and the way that I was financing it, the way that I was treating my finances was all dependent on, thank you, Adam. I will be talking to anything in the hole with me. But the way that I was managing my finances was dependent on a characteristic that I don't really have a ton. I don't have it in spades. I've got other stuff. I've got great stuff. And so it was kind of this treatment of like, I kept saying, well, tomorrow I'm going to be a different type of person than the person I am today. And then this system will work. And instead of blaming the system I was trying to use, it just became another way for me to beat myself up, because every day I was proving I wasn't a supernaturally disciplined person. And it just became, I felt worse and worse about this because I had the notebook and I had the system and I had the knowledge. And I don't know why I couldn't get it to work, because like I had all that stuff. And it's because I wasn't thinking really logically and intelligently about how I am and how I operate and the ways that I need to have things set up to be successful. It was creating a narrative of just giving me more evidence that I wasn't good at this thing, or that I was bad at this thing, or I was a liability. And so for me, a really big, powerful change came when I, one, involved my husband a lot more. It doesn't have to be your husband, it doesn't have to be your wife, it doesn't have to be your partner, it doesn't have to be anybody like that. It can just be a friend if you guys have similar goals. But it can be really helpful to, one, just kind of pull back that shame curtain and let people in. And one, discover this is not so like overwhelming and like embarrassing that I can't talk about it, and that it's actually like fairly normal. This is a thing that like everybody is struggling with. This is a part of every conversation. And working hard, and this is hard work. Like, I will not lie to you, this is hard work, but working hard to find the spots when your emotions were the most at play and planning around that. So the person who volunteered earlier, if I've had a really bad day, I'll go through a drive-through because I want someone to take care of me. And so how do we plan in the future for that? Part one can literally just be planning to give yourself a somebody taking care of me line item on your budget for bad days. It just means if that's really important to you, and that's honestly something that helps you feel better and that works with your goals, and it doesn't get in the way of any of your other health or whatever goals, we just need to add that into your budget and kick somebody else out who isn't quite as important. It isn't a weight-bearing budget line item. So that's one option. Another option is thinking of ways that you have things prepared for when those moments arise, that you have something that you look forward to, that you've maybe been saving for yourself at home, that you have something that is your substitute for that works, still feels good. And this is the hardest part about it too, is working on how do we make our financial management, one, tell a story about ourselves that is affirming, and two, how do we make it a game we can win?